Hello, hello, you lovely base tradians. We are going to be spawning up here in game number 1 for the Chairs4Gaming Cup number 8. Top of the pink Zerg player from Root Gaming. Give it up for SolO. He's riding solo.
He's riding solo. Saw him play yesterday, but this guy in the bottom left-hand corner, he is our blue Terran player. Is he on MVP or is he just chilling on his own right now? Do you know?
I will check in a little bit.
His name is KeeN.
Alright, as I very clearly do not tab out and pull up my...
A freak of freaks. Wow, I went like way back.
Yeah, I'm actually going to have a bunch of information on both these guys. So for those who don't know, SolO, a Norwegian Zerg player, has been playing in a lot of the North American events, though. And not quite super duper accomplished, but definitely a pretty solid Zerg player nonetheless. We got to, I think, as you mentioned, see a bit of him playing yesterday. And I would say, like, that's one of the cool things that I really like about how this sort of week for Corsair Cup and Chairs4Gaming has kind of built its own storylines. It's almost like we're getting to see, like, a continuation of a tournament where we get to, like, see all these repeat players participating over and over and over again.
Yeah, no, I love it when people, you know, continue to go to the tournaments instead of just like, you know, playing once and then not really seeing them again, and you see like a whole new set of players. Because while it's always good to see all, you know, new players, we don't get to cast every single game in the bracket. So it's like we may have been like, oh, this player played, but we missed their match. This time we at least get to see repeat players, SolO and KeeN, who I don't believe we ended up casting, but was actually playing maybe on the other side of the bracket, or just in another game. So
yeah, I think a really good example of that actually would even be Easy Peasy, who we got to see maybe a little bit of, but that's another player that I was like, I don't know a whole lot about this guy. I think he goes by the name Ultimate in game, but he did a really, really good job yesterday taking out some really pretty strong players, and I was actually really impressed with him. So I'm definitely going to be keeping more of an eye out on him, who I believe is actually playing versus somebody else right now, a pretty strong player. I know we were talking about potentially watching that.
I know we were talking about it.
It is
game time. Somebody, well, who we saw yesterday, a lot of, which is nice.
Yeah, game time, one of those players that you get to see in pretty much, if you follow like online tournaments or cups that with open signups, you basically have probably seen game time because he signs up for everything. He is like the new age KeeN / Bly in that regard.
Oh man, well, we'll see how they end up doing on their side of the brackets as we do focus a little here on Arena, because I was actually I was worried that we might have missed something big here because, you know, Arena and its tendencies, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything like one base oriented. You know, they have at least both taken their naturals, even SolO going for his third, but doesn't mean that there's not going to be any kind of aggression coming out of KeeN. And this is the build-up I think we saw yesterday him do on Ruins of Endion. Or no, somebody did this on Ruins of Endion.
You may be right. I'm trying to recall this. There's just so much StarCraft lately. But these Zergans already getting some damage done. Man, they actually are able to kill off, what, 1, 2, almost 3 workers?
Tang.
Oh, Tang, yeah. So, like, I would almost say kind of what you were saying before, like this looks like it's not going to be a big all-in from either player. We got a Lair eventually getting up for SolO. We got like the Siege Shanks coming out over here for KeeN, going to go for a little bit of drop harassment, but I would almost say it's kind of the weirdness of this comes from the fact that it's a normal game on Arena.
Oh yeah, no. Like neither of them going to do anything super crazy, but the map still does present its kind of obstacles to get over as far as engagements will go, depending on where you end up taking them, whether that bridge is going to be utilized for a push or anything of the sort. So yeah, man, I definitely am very happy to see this shape up this way.
Well, still got to be a little bit careful as these Marines are starting to do a decent amount of damage. The Reaper does get picked off over there by the Zerglings, but I mean, Hatchery's down to below half health. He is going to move in over here. Widowmine does not actually fire off on those Zerglings. A really nice attempt from SolO to try and get some friendly fire damage done, but ends up still suffering some losses to the Widowmine.
Yeah, he lost a few larvae there too. Don't believe it was an injected hatchery yet, so there's only a few. And his follow-up is going to be the Spire. I think he even skipped the Baneling Nest. So
he did, yeah. That's actually going to be a bit of a problem because look, he's engaging over here. He's going to be able to do a little bit more damage, force the siege tank to the high ground, but these Marines are not doing moderate amounts of damage anymore. They're actually going to potentially kill off this hatchery.
Yeah, there's a few transfuses that are available, but I mean, this tank, I don't think there's any way to really get to it. There's just maybe too many units here out of KeeN.
Oh.
This hatchery's getting so low, Fear Dragon.
Spinecrawler is going to be going down pretty soon. The Queen does get taken out, and the Spinecrawler finishes up with next to no health. There's still a few Marines left. This is just like a light aggression from KeeN. This wasn't supposed to end the game.
No, it wasn't. And when you lose your third here, it's definitely like one of the worst situations. But when the mutas come out, I'm wondering if they're going to be able to at least give SolO some breathing room and potentially put some pressure back on KeeN's side. But oh my goodness, he's supply blocked. Okay, he's able to get those out.
I mean, this has escalated so far out of control. Looking at the units lost, 62 Zerglings, 5 Queens have gone down, multiple Overlords, even a drone. For KeeN, a Reaper, a Medevac, and 3 Marines.
Wow.
He
yeah.
is, like, this was a Medevac drop. This is a single Medevac drop that then eventually had the tank added on. And I think 2 or 3 Marines ended up joining in because the Widowmine was joined. Like,
yeah, these Marines are still just doing so much damage. Like, the value of these Marines is ridiculous. God. Even the Widowmine gonna just absolutely destroy SolO here, right? Like, even if he holds, the damage over done cost is absolutely amazing here out of KeeN.
Like, I think this is just almost tilt-inducing. Like, SolO may very well clean this up, and then he's gonna tap out because the follow-up push is here, and guess what? That's not even, I guess, the entire army. There's still more rounds of reinforcements coming out. KeeN can probably easily just pump out enough units to just end the game right now.
Yeah, and he's pushing with stim. It's about to finish. Like, he's not even waiting for 1-1. The map is short enough that he can just do this. Whether there's he's kind of like thinking, I did a lot of damage here, and then if I let him breathe and do damage with mutas, then he might take too much damage and then give SolO away back in. But with everything coming off the line, especially the drones, man, it is not looking good for SolO in this game number 1. GG.
KeeN walks away with game number 1 in this best of 3.
Wow.
I mean, I was gonna favor KeeN, but I wasn't expecting that.
It's just whenever it spirals out of control, it's so easy to keep it going. Like, but that was rallying more. I think he just used that one group of units and did way too much damage with it.
Yeah, that was just straight up, I think, SolO cutting a few corners in the sense that he didn't get the Baneling nest up or anything like that. So, I mean, obviously something like Banelings would have been helpful, but at the same time, I think it really just goes back to, are you still in the game? I think.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just trying to invite you, and I'm like, oh god, please don't start before Tempo joins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what I was saying with it was just that I think it was a little bit of greed from SolO, but just seriously undervaluing or underestimating like that pushing, because it was not supposed to be a lot of damage. But it just seemed like it was underestimated, and SolO didn't really handle it with like the seriousness that he needed to.
Yeah, and a lot of his links kept getting like, you know, that point where there's that pillar, and then where the third is, and then the pillar's right below it. There would always be a queen going to attack, and then the lings would get stuck behind the queen. So by the time the lings even got to the Marines or the tanks, they would already have taken a hit from the tank, and yeah, it's just hard, you know, with a few units. You don't want to be using your larva, like, pure ling just there, like waves of lings to deal with one drop.
Yeah, well, KeeN leads up the series 1-0. I correct the scoreboard really quickly, and we're going to be moving on to the next map. It's going to be King Sejong Station. We'll see you guys there. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in game number 2 for this best of 3 series. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the pink Zerg player from Root Gaming. And gotta win 2 games in a row. Give it up for SolO, Norwegian Zerg player.
And on the other side, it is our blue player. He's Darren. He's from Afrika Freaks. It is KeeN. And I want to take us back to yesterday when he did that build against Ruff. That really, really early Roach Warren. And I'm wondering if he's going to bring it back against KeeN. You know, I mean, it wasn't really too successful, and he was gonna play economically afterwards, but against Ruff, it ended up getting completely shut down. And you know, I wonder if it's a map thing because I know a lot of Zerg players don't like playing on this map that often.
Yeah, I think it's actually, you said it best yesterday. When you play versus Ruff, you're not
You did,
playing
right, I did.
ZvT,
I'm
you're
just
playing
kidding.
ZV Ruff, right?
True.
So I wouldn't hate him for him to go for something similar again, even if it didn't really work out too well versus Ruff. Ruff just plays so differently that you can't really anticipate the game is going to go the same way versus Ruff versus anyone else. Especially since he loves to, he was, I think, in those games trying to go for like this really weird mech style that really incorporated a lot of Thors and actually forewent Vikings for quite a bit of time, even when the Broodlords were coming out.
Yeah. I think against KeeN though, right? He'll probably end up either playing it in a more like practical way, at least. I know like he's not gonna try to completely take advantage of some specific timing that KeeN is known for, because I don't know if it's really easy to kind of decipher what it is. What it is that he's gonna do, but you can almost assume that it's gonna be in that kind of standard realm.
Yeah.
With maybe like that pressure, so maybe he can take advantage of the fact that he plays a lot of that on the ladder anyway. But you know, I think KeeN would execute it maybe at a better level than most players on the ladder.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
No, it's like that idea of, do you go for the late game with him? You know what I mean? Like a lot of the times, the reason why people didn't really like playing a straight up macro game against most Korean players is because they might not be able to keep up. But I don't know if it's completely the case anymore. And I think there's a lot more ways to at least take advantage of certain weaknesses in Legacy. You see that with True, with like the Baneling drops, you know, like stuff like that, where you can take it into your own hands almost.
Yeah, there's just a lot more opportunities to put the pressure on your opponents rather than just sitting back and waiting for the big army engagement and see who macroed better at the end of the day. I think that's a really good way of putting it. But, well, Reaper looks like it's going to get hunted down, does finally get taken out. Third expansion going down for SolO, and, well, you called it. We do have that Roach Warren popping out.
Yeah, but this one seems to be a bit later. Remember when we called it yesterday? It was like the 3-minute mark.
That's true.
And this is a pretty early one, and we weren't sure if he was going to do it for safety or, well, what he ended up doing. But I think this time around, he should be going for it. I mean, he's going to just kind of play it out. Roach Warren, in case there's some kind of, any kind of aggression. You know, you can either decide to go for heavy Ling Queen, or here you go with the Roaches.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's knocking down these rocks, obviously that's also going to be really helpful against, say, a Terran player that sieges some siege tanks on the low ground and tries to put pressure on the natural. It's still King Sejong Station. That has not changed since Heart of the Swarm. That actually is still a very annoying thing to deal with. But still, also going for the double upgrades, finally getting up a fairly late lair tech. I really do feel like SolO is just trying to play this out as much of a macro-oriented game as possible.
Yeah, but you know what KeeN is doing here is a build that's been a little bit more popular as well. That double medevac push with Stim very, very early. And this is actually a very scary build. Like, if you're not ready for it, you don't have the units out, and those units unload and get out and end up getting into your mineral line. They can get into a nice position here if they decided to go behind the mineral line or something like that. But they're going to go for the third instead.
Yeah, still could get a lot of damage done over here. The Roach is definitely going to be helpful in pushing back these Marines a little bit as their armor does soak up a little bit more damage, but it's not quite enough. Stim finishes up, and these Marines charge on forward, taking out a lot of the drones as well, or at least a couple of them. 2 of them end up going down so far, but more going to be vulnerable now.
Yep, and here he goes. He's just going to get so much economic damage done right before the Roaches pop. He's getting as much as he can get done with these 2 medevacs full of units. And even unloads one, gets them out of there. And how much damage did he do? About 1,900 resources worth.
Yeah, 10 workers killed, and we see SolO's reduced down to a pretty low drone count, especially considering, you know, 3-base Zerg player. This is, again, just doing so much damage. These drops, I feel like KeeN has been seizing firm control of this series with just the light bits of harassment.
It's like this early pressure, right? Like, you see some players deal with it and shut it down and make it look really stupid, but SolO seems to be struggling with it right now. Maybe expecting something else, and then all of a sudden KeeN does, you know, another kind of timing. I I just, yeah, I think it's very difficult right now whenever you do lose a lot of income, whether it's your drones there or just even mining time with the Liberators. But either way, right? It's like these pushes are hitting him hard.
They really are, and I mean, they were hitting him hard before he was splitting up his units. Now he's actually got drop on the left-hand side, cleaning up creep, had the other drop on the right-hand side, forcing out more of those Ravagers, picking those guys off, even forcing one of the Ravagers to kill his own creep tumor. You can tell
Yeah.
Solo's starting to, I mean, he's starting to fall a little bit further behind, not only in terms of economy, but even just in terms of, like, supply.
Yeah. So, I mean, this creep spread is pretty sick, though. So he's always going to see these coming. He's not going to get blindsided anymore. Although I guess KeeN is scanning, but, you know, the creep spread is actually important here in the sense of, like, just taking further damage. It's just so crucial to be able to clean this up without taking any further damage and just try to recollect everything you have.
Ooh, boy.
But there's another drop main.
2 drops actually coming in and going to be able to do some really nice damage over here. Actually, Roach is maybe able to push this back, but at the same time, there's a drop back with those 4 Marines that survive going back into the 3rd expansion. I mean, it's just drops everywhere.
Yep, and he's retaining a decent amount, making sure not to lose the medevac. If he does, that would be pretty annoying because they're going to be so good when the follow-up push hits eventually.
Oh,
one's
yeah.
already done. At least for both. So
Waiting for the low ground with a snipe. Does pick off that one other medevac. Natural expansion tries to get dropped, but not a whole lot happening over there. SolO's starting to finally get up his bearings and defending, but Infestation Pit comes out behind this. I guess he does have some tech coming up. It's just a question of, has he already taken too much damage?
Yeah, I mean, he's even on workers, which is never a good thing. Infestation does get spotted by KeeN, so he knows that the potential of Hive is going to be soon. So he could time some kind of push in order to kind of capitalize on that gas usage. But SolO, you know, he's been doing okay with, you know, at least trying to not completely die to the pushes. But I think they're doing what they intended, at least in KeeN's eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, KeeN starting to move across the map. Already has one of his medevacs, I guess, scouting around and seeing everything. But SolO also saw, with an Overlord, a lot of these units moving out. So he's going to be preparing. You can see he's moving his army over to the left-hand side of the map. We're moving it to the natural expansion, ready to move into whatever position he needs to. I don't think this 4th expansion is actually going to go up, but there is also that drop move into the 3rd.
Oh. And the distance between the 4th and the 3rd here, I mean, SolO has to make a decision right now. Do you keep your 3rd alive? Well, he's going to actually deal with it with only a few roaches, but he does lose that 4th.
Ravager is going to be really, really important, as well as a couple of fungal growths could make or break this engagement, but he doesn't have pathogen glands, so the infestor pops with no energy.
Yeah, and this is the timing that KeeN is hitting right before 2-2. I'm wondering if he decided to go for it because he saw the infestation pit, or if he just felt like he was far enough ahead that it doesn't even matter what upgrades he has. Oh, the fungal whiffs!
Fungal whiffs? I mean, yeah, the split is so good anyways.
Exactly. Damn, this is a lot of damage by KeeN. This is game-ending damage. I think SolO might have to tap out here. He's just losing way too much right now.
Yeah, I mean, KeeN may eventually start to run out of steam over here with this push, but killing off the natural, killing off the 4th. He has a 4th expansion of his own going up in the center of the map. He can turn that into a planetary fortress.
Man, too, just chilling. He just
Oh my god.
He's taken out. Okay, he gets taken out, but he got like 7 drones.
SolO, this has already been game-ending damage, as you said before. I think SolO just kind of coming to grips with this. I mean, hopefully this is going to be one of those times where you say, like, man, I kind of got wrecked, but at least I got a learning experience. GG.
GG indeed. KeeN is going to advance, and that means that he will play off again. Oh, actually, that was a round 2 match, so he's going to be waiting for the winner of Pili Pili and whoever won between Lisandro and Jimpara.
Ooh, should be fun. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hop to a short little break while we find our next match for you guys. You guys are watching the Chairs4Gaming Cup number 8. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit.